Our city's name is Phyllville. We're located in the Scandinavian mountain range, and since we're in such a cold place, we need heat conservation. And we are located halfway up the mountain, and because we are located halfway up a mountain, we have low flooding.
Okay, so one big difference between our cities and theirs is our city is divided into two levels, as you can clearly see. There's lower underground level, and I call this the aerial level. That was built for a specific reason, mainly to conserve heat. But if you notice, there's also a difference in the buildings. This is more the industrial and heavy commercial section, where we keep all of our large manufacturers. And this is more the residential area and like light commercial section. The reason we built it this way is so we conserve heat. We get the geothermal energy down here, and that's what heats up our buildings since we're in such a cold place. They go through a little tube up through these really big buildings, heat those up, and then eventually those tubes will connect up to these shorter buildings up in the residential section over here.
And our buildings are made domed in order to save heat and materials because they don't have the corners to heat up. And yeah, and in our lower industrial buildings, all of them are like bright or darkish colors because we have plants growing on them which allow carbon dioxide to be taken in from the city and allow more oxygen. And our pillars that are holding our cities up are also covered in plants. And since this area is underground, we have there isn't very much light, so these plants are biologically engineered to take in light, and they don't have very much, they don't use very much light, so they also give off light.
And because our buildings are domed like this, we have water savings.
Collect rainwater.
And they collect rainwater. They come off and collect in pots by the sides of them. And since we have hot springs near our city, we take advantage of that, and we use that for drinking water. And since they're hot springs, there is not very much need for purification.
One of the big industries in our city is tourism. You wouldn't think that a place in the northern mountains would have that much tourism, but we have a couple of weird attractions. The first one was these two. These are ice hotels. The hotel's actually built out of ice, and this one's already been colored, you can see, but you figure people wouldn't want to live nice their whole lives, but if they just sleep in it for one night, they'll be fine with that. That's a pretty big attraction. There are also sculpture parks that we have where different sculptors make different ice sculptures, and you can walk through them and look at all the weird little sculptures. And of course there are also the hot springs, which someone's going to demonstrate right now. And we have
And another cool thing about our city is that we do not use roads, so that takes a lot of money, saves a lot of money in the environment because we don't have to have all this concrete. So this darker patch of green is very short plants that do not grow very high, and what we do is we have covered cars that drive above the ground, so they don't need a road to drive on, and these patches are just indications of where to drive on.
You may also notice our city has no central power plants. In this future age, we don't have central power plants in our cities. Each citizen powers their own home by themselves. That way there's pretty much no chance of a blackout. It takes a lot of stress off the government, makes the citizens a little more responsible, and it makes energy a lot cheaper to come by. Our main sources of power are solar, geothermal, and just hydroelectric, so that's pretty much it, I think.